actor involves having an ego. How else can someone endure rejection before landing a breakthrough part? Some elite Hollywood actors, however, let their egos get the best of them. Welcome to FilmShack. Today, we prepared for you the top 10 most difficult actors to work with. Number 10. Gwyneth Paltrow.
I have to go, Eli.
Margot?
Uh-huh.
May I come in, please?
Gwyneth Paltrow has had quite a career over the last 2 decades. She's been in the hit David Fincher thriller Seven, the Oscar-winning Shakespeare in Love, the talented Mr. Ripley, the Royal Tenenbaums, and the little-seen, little-remembered, but well-liked Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. She most recently appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Tony Stark's partner in crime, Pepper Potts. That said, Paltrow isn't the most liked starlet in Hollywood. It's been said by more than a few folks that she's not a very enjoyable person to be with, due to her coldness and demands as an actress. Much of this stems from her apparently unpleasant demeanor, which may explain why she was voted most stuck-up in Movie Line magazine all the way back in 1998. All that said, it hasn't stopped Paltrow any, as she continues to have a solid acting career all these years later. Number 9. Johnny Depp.
That's him. Crybaby Walker.
For decades, actor Johnny Depp was on a path many expected to be filled with Academy Awards, box office triumphs, and leagues of adoring fans. Nowadays, that seems like a distant, if misguided prediction. Depp once kept a sound engineer on his payroll to feed him lines while shooting a film. This particular move is not as unusual as it sounds, at least for an actor at this stage of his career. But Depp, of course, found a way to Deppify the process. According to the actor, the sound engineer was hired not necessarily to feed him lines, but to pipe disturbing noises into his ear, a move Depp says helps him emote better on screen. From 3-time Oscar nominee to 3-time Razzie nominee, that's gotta hurt. Number 8. Bruce Willis. Wresting rumors about his difficult nature for years, Bruce Willis is known for playing action heroes in the occasional dramatic roles, The Sixth Sense. Director Kevin Smith said working with him on Cop Out was soul-crushing. At the wrap party, Smith said, "I want to thank everyone who worked on the film, except for Bruce Willis, who is a effing dick." However, by the time the sequel to Red had been released in 2013, Willis's reputation for being a chore to work with had become a bit more well-known. Even fellow action star Sylvester Stallone had problems with him when Willis wouldn't do The Expendables 3 because he wanted a pay raise, despite the fact that he was a supporting player in the series at best. Sylvester Stallone tweeted, "Greedy and lazy, a sure formula for career failure." Number 7. Chevy Chase.
Hello. Hello.
One of the biggest comedians from the mid-70s, all the way through the 80s and 90s, Cornelius Crane Chase, otherwise known as Chevy, has built up an infamous reputation since he first showed up on Saturday Night Live. Even back then, he was well known for being rude and antagonistic toward his cast members, to the point that when he left SNL after a year, nobody minded all that much. He'd later show up in the Harold Ramis-directed Caddyshack, where his feud with Bill Murray, which involved a physical altercation or two, led to a hilariously awkward scene between the two characters. From that point on, Chevy would make a few vacation films and show up in the Ed Helms version, as well as Fletch in its sequel. He even tried to be a talk show host, but that didn't work out. Those guys are usually a bit friendlier after all. Most recently, he starred in the cult favorite sitcom Community, a show he famously quit. But he didn't just quit. No, he made it public that he wasn't even a fan of the show, which caused a great deal of animosity between him and creator Dan Harmon. Co-star Joel McHale has also mentioned how rude and offensive Chevy would be towards the rest of the cast. Few names in Hollywood are as cold as Chevy Chase at the moment. Number 6. Lindsay Lohan.
America's sweetheart, Lindsay Lohan.
A little more than a decade ago, Lindsay Lohan was one of the biggest stars in her generation. She acted, she danced, she sang, and she was the hottest party girl on the planet. But unfortunately, all that partying eventually caught up to her, and the former child starlet's play hard, then work not so hard attitude made her box office poison. In July 2006, Morgan Creek Productions CEO James G. Robinson sent Lindsay Lohan a letter threatening legal action due to her lack of professionalism on the set of Georgia Rule. Since the commencement of the principal photography of Georgia Rule, you have frequently failed to arrive on time to the set. Today, you did not show for work all day. I am now told you don't plan to work tomorrow because you are not feeling well. Lilo apparently didn't learn her lesson, or maybe just never figured out how to tell time. In 2010, an on-set source claimed to E! News that Lohan was a total nightmare during her stint on Glee. She was 3 hours late in the morning, and when she did finally arrive, she just didn't want to be there. She did not want to work, the insider alleged. She had not memorized her lines. She kept disappearing so no one could find her. She has rubbed the staffers all the wrong way. Number 5. Megan Fox.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's cool.
I just didn't recognize you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's understandable.
After a couple small appearances in early 2000s teen movies, The Olsen Twins' Holiday in the Sun, and Lindsay Lohan's Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, Megan Fox became a superstar virtually overnight, playing Michaela Barnes in Michael Bay's 2007 big-budget blockbuster adaptation of Transformers. Then her career hit a few snags, seemingly alienating much of Hollywood due to a feud with Bay that also involved Steven Spielberg. When most people verbally attack their boss and it gets back to them, they might get reprimanded or fired. When a movie star criticizes their high-powered director, it just might get them blacklisted throughout Hollywood. In the middle of what was supposed to be a fluff piece for the British magazine Wonderland in 2009, Fox issued a controversial reply to a question about working with Michael Bay. He's like Napoleon, and he wants to create this insane, infamous madman reputation, Fox said, equating her director on 2 Transformers movies to the power-mad general and emperor, bent on conquering Europe in the early 1800s. Then Fox kept talking. He wants to be like Hitler on his sets, and he is. Number 4. Shia LaBeouf.
Do it! Just do it!
The actor seemed to have a great career ahead of him, after getting lead roles in blockbusters like Transformers. However, LaBeouf's career has slowed due to his behavior, including a fight with Tom Hardy on the set of Lawless. LaBeouf has been known to be a bit of a challenge for those on set. Most stories involving him center around his strange method approach and how difficult it can be to work with him in general. However, there's also stories such as the ones involving him fighting with fellow co-stars, such as Tom Hardy on the set of Lawless, and having a public feud with Alec Baldwin, with whom he had done a Broadway play with. When you factor in his offset troubles, he's not exactly a guy that studio execs are lining up to hire, despite his talent. Number 3. Shannon Doherty.
I'm sorry, I just can't control myself.
Well, don't fight it.
A breakout star in the 90s drama Beverly Hills 90210, Shannon Doherty earned a reputation as a difficult actress. Co-star Jason Priestley described her diva-like behavior in his book, Jason Priestley, a memoir, recalling that Doherty truly did not give a shit. He noted she even complained when a publicist had a town car pick her up instead of a limo. Producer Aaron Spelling characterized her in a slightly more sympathetic light, telling People magazine she's a very honest person who wears her emotions on her sleeve. If you ask her a direct question, she'll give you a direct answer. Doherty's co-stars didn't appreciate her honesty, as revealed in Lifetime's The Unauthorized Beverly Hills 90210 story. Doherty's co-stars voted her off the show, and her character moved to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. Doherty never returned to the show, although she appeared on the CW spin-off show 90210 in 2008. Number 2. Edward Norton.
When people criticize public figures, they're going to experience emotional distress. We all know that.
Of the many popular actors working today, none may be so infamous for being tough to work with as Edward Norton. Getting his break in 1996 with the films Primal Fear and The People vs. Larry Flint, Norton would famously star in American History X and later co-star with Brad Pitt on David Fincher's Fight Club. Known for wanting creative control over his projects, Norton created tension with director Louis Lederer on The Incredible Hulk set. According to Slash Film, Norton rewrote the script shortly before production, adding dialogue and character motivations. Afterward, the director discussed how Norton and Marvel didn't get along. The press is what kept Edward and Marvel from talking to each other. The argument was nothing, but then it became something big. Norton left the role after the movie, and the Hulk character was recast. Though as difficult as Norton is, his talent as an actor has never been questioned. He's just too much for some people. Number 1. Charlie Sheen.
Great job. You really f***ed me tonight. Which I did because I'm into anonymous sex.
Sheen's hard partying made him increasingly difficult to work with on the set of 2.5 Men, reports People magazine. In a letter to Sheen's lawyer, Warner Bros. Counsel described the troubled actor as having a series of well-chronicled and increasingly erratic outbursts. The studio also noted that Sheen lost weight, missed rehearsals, and directed inflammatory comments at Chuck Lorre, the co-creator of 2.5 Men. However, even by this time, Sheen was known for his wild antics, drug use, and partying. His marriage to Denise Richards didn't last, nor end too well, and he was eventually forced off 2.5 Men because of his unpredictable behavior. Although the studio claimed to have gave Sheen multiple chances to clean himself up in rehab, the actor failed to continue those efforts, so they fired Sheen and replaced him with Ashton Kutcher for the show's final 4 seasons. Sheen later told Matt Lauer that he regrets ruining 2.5 Men. By this point, Sheen is well known for being a crazy actor who can't get nearly the same amount of work that he used to, and he is now more recognized for saying bizarre things and for being a generally bizarre person. We would like to invite you to share your opinion with us. Do you agree with our list? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to turn on the notifications bell. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!